Good enough.
What was that?
Good enough.
Yep.
Oh, that's good anyways.
What was that?
He said that he saw cohos surfacing up here before. What's hitting my butt? Oh, that's my build. That's right.
How deep we going?
I was gonna go until I started marking fish. I don't have a plan, bud. No plan. No plan. Face. I don't like that he's in front of me. Oh, don't snake them. Oh yeah, nice laker, nice lake. Well, welcome to another Early Bird Adventures video, guys. This isn't really an adventure. I hope you enjoyed the first two clips, though. That was a trip I made last weekend. I went up on the North Shore. I'm still getting used to that fishing, but I did a lot of research. We did end up getting lucky. I was out there with a friend. He got a laker. I ended up getting two, and I missed that one, as you saw in the two clips ahead of this. And anyways, I thought this would be a good opportunity. I kind of was planning on doing this out on the water in a different video, but I'm going to talk about my rods and how I set them up, and for using pump weights, lead core, all that kind of fun stuff. The way I have them set up is, obviously, it's more of a multi-purpose setup. I'm getting more used to the kayak, and the more and more I'm getting used to it, the less and less I really want to run lead core off of it. I'd rather just run a sliding pump weight on it. So basically, I'm going to start off with how I have my pump weights set up, or snap weights, or whatever you want to call them. So I run, basically, I got this idea from another guy, but basically you see I have, let's here, yeah, right there. So there's a little split ring there. So as you're in your kayak, obviously in a boat, you can just have someone take it off for you, or you're standing in the boat. But obviously we're sitting, and I'm trying to keep pedaling because I'm trying to get the other rod hit at the same time. So this way, say the bait's out that way, the line will go through this swivel right here, and then you just take, this is a simple offshore orange pinch pad, and put the line in there so that it secures the weight. Then you can let the weight out however many feet you want for how deep you're going down. The Laker and the fish that was in the video that I missed was actually running this, which is Torpedo's 8-ounce snap weight, and I had a total, with the 20-foot leader, and I let out another 60 feet, so I had 80 feet of line out, and it was getting me down about, because I was seeing it on my fish finder, the depth chart was saying it should have been a little higher, but it was getting down about 50, 55 feet, or I'm sorry, 50, 45 feet, and that's where I was getting hit. So basically what that ends up sliding down to is, I'm going to show you here, I have set up, see that's a little bead. So basically what I'm doing is tying it down to a swivel. That way, sometimes in the fall when they're really focused, because they're hitting more out of aggression, I like the flash from a flasher fly, but they, are really into like big wide plugs like the mag lips. Oh, what's the name of that other one? Flatfish and fat wiggler. I don't know. And then, or J plug or a silver horde or something like that. Something with a big wide wobbly action. But I still want the flash from the flasher to try to draw fish in. So what I ended up hitting is attaching a Yakima Al's fish flash, and I get the 4 or 6 inch one. It's just basically silver, the silver and plaid taped one, just to put some flash out there. Then obviously the plug's action's gonna get the hit. But so what I end up doing is I have braid as my main backer line. I usually end up this is 30-pound braid, and I get 300 yards of line. Again, more multi-purpose. On Superior, don't need that necessarily as much, but like if I wanted to go visit Lake Michigan or something like that, some of those bigger kings will pull that out. I know it sounds like a lot, 300 yards of line, or 900 feet, however you want to say it, but I've had it happen. And obviously it's going to be less likely in a kayak, because if a fish is pulling that hard, it's going to pull your kayak more. But I'd rather be prepared than lose the fish of a lifetime. So I have a couple different reels. That one is an Akuma 20D cold water. This is a Daiwa AccuDepth 27. All great reels. You want something with a really good drag. I would say spend your money on, better reels and less money on rods. You don't need to spend a whole lot of money on rods. I know these rods are a little more on the expensive end of the rod fishing spectrum, but these are still only 40 bucks. These are the Akuma cold water rods. You can get, Daiwa makes a Great Lakes series that's fantastic. Shimano makes great rods. Obviously they're going to be more on the pricey end, but the main thing I would stick with is you want something that's got a slow action, which means there's a lot more bend in the rod. The fast actions, that's mainly just the tip, and then it loads up almost instantly, so like 3/4 of the rod's like super stiff, and then the tip's really flexible. These ones, the whole rod basically bends. You want a slower action on a kayak, in my opinion, because it's going to absorb, you're not dealing with planer boards or big hit, the kayak's going to give a little bit, and you want those to give a little bit. It's not an immovable force like a big boat is. I would also suggest you want to get, for the length of your rod, you want to get something that if a fish loads up on it and runs underneath your boat, you can take the rod and whip it around the front of your kayak. Now, obviously on the big lake, I'm using a little longer kayak, These are 8-foot rods. I do have 7-footers that you've seen in my past videos that I use for my planer board rods when I'm on the Wisconsin side in my kayak. Those are only 7-foot, but that is because longer rods kind of get cut out of the shot when it comes to filming for you guys. So I do end up using them. I'm also 6'4" though, so I can get my arm to whip it around the front. But I use these mainly for, you know, dead sticking, pump weights, stuff like that, because then it'll get it out away from the kayak a little bit. So if this side gets hit and the fish wants to run, at least this side shouldn't get tangled. And then two, if let's say the planer board gets hit and it's a smaller fish, I think, you know, at least I have 8 feet coming out to the side here to try to pull it in to net the fish, you know, have a little gap so I don't always have to reel that in. But yeah, so like I said, I use braid backer, helps me get down deeper because I can use that thinner diameter. And you know, then I tie to, I think I use a VMC rolling swivel, but Spro makes one, a couple other companies do. Basically just something that's really tiny, but you know, still has, you know, 30-pound or, you know, test or 40-pound test or whatever. So it'll go through the guides. I would also suggest getting a rod with metal guides instead of the ceramic ones, because, you know, one, that metal Spro, you know, you could tie straight to the line too, and that's not gonna really hurt anything. I like the Spro because then I can swap out leaders a lot easier. I don't have to tie, you know, the braid and the mono knot. I can just snip the mono and then tie straight to the metal leader again. But also, if you're using a lot of lead core, braid, anything like that, it will wear grooves into the ceramic guides over time. Especially us, you know, trolling like this, because you're constantly putting pressure on that rod. And so that rod, you know, say you're in waves or whatever, that rod's bouncing, well, that braid's going to wear grooves into that ceramic faster than it would be if you're just casting and this and that. So I would highly suggest getting rods, and they're not that expensive. I mean, like I said, the Daiwa Great Lakes ones, they're metal, and, you know, they're, I think, $40 or something like that. I think I got some on sale and they were like 35 or something, you know. Shimano makes some good ones. I would stay away from the TDR ones though. They're a little too stiff for my liking. They're really nice. I got 2 of them. They're 7'6" ones I use for my inside planer boards. But yeah, they say they're downrigger rods, but they're a little on the stiff side for my taste. But and then another thing I want to talk about. I'm not a huge fan of rod leashes. I think I've said this before in the past, but I would, you know, I just bought a cheap fun noodle from the dollar store, cut it, zip tied it to the rod, made sure I cut a little flat spot, you know, so like when the rod's loaded up, the line's not going to get cut into the fun noodle. That way, if I do flip, my rod's going to float to the surface. Now, obviously, if I'm running this big, huge 8-ounce snap weight, probably not going to cut it, but at least it's better than nothing. And I'm, you know, it's most of the year I'm not running big heavy weights like that. It will float up with a 4-ounce snap weight. So I have tried that, but obviously the 8-ounce is going to probably pull it down. But my thought is, you know, when you do flip, I practice deep water entry with all my gear and stuff, and the rod leashes just seem to, when I'm trying to tread and flip the thing, it would wrap up on my arms, my legs, stuff like that. And yes, I do have the knife, but then what's the point of the rod leash if I have to cut it and then I lose my rod anyways? At least this way, I'm not fighting that issue. So I hope you guys liked the video. I hope it was descriptive enough. Please, you know, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell. I'm hoping to get up to enough viewers so I can maybe kind of start thinking about doing this, and I can start doing some a lot cooler videos for you. I will be posting a lot more starting in September. I got a weatherproofing kit so I can run an extended battery. I might be posting some bow hunting videos. I will definitely be posting kayak videos of fall fishing, whether it be the walleyes or the salmon and brown trout coming up here in the fall. I will be starting early September, because that's when the cohos and the kings start coming up. The cohos stay around through kind of October time frame, but the kings go up in September. So I will be doing that. I am hopefully going to get out in August here a few times. I was hoping to be posting some walleyes from Superior on here for you guys, but they have not really shown up. There's been some reports, here and there or whatever, but not enough that it's really going to make me want to drag my kayak out there. When, if it was my big boat and I could just take my big motor and just run where the heck I want. But since they're not in one spot right now, it kind of doesn't pay, because I would be in search mode almost the whole time. So, I don't know. Maybe that might happen here in August. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment down. Ooh, that's a little slippier than I expected.